Disturbing things caught on camera. The following bizarre video was captured in a remote area by Mandy Bushwick. Mandy set up Ring cameras around her home, in order to capture sightings of the wildlife that passes by. One day, however, strange things started to happen. It began with this video, where a dark shadowy figure can be seen lurking by the shed. After other weird events, the Ring camera captured a voice recording of the object. Take a look. Comment what you think in the comments.
This is what would happen if the moon was flat. The first change that will be noticeable is the ocean tides. Our moon's gravitational pull generates these tides. Our moon pulls the water on the side of the Earth that's closest to it. But this flat moon would have less mass and less gravitational effect on our planet. And the altered tides would affect a whole bunch of things. Ocean tides stir up material below the water's surface, allowing coastal ecosystems to thrive. But without the usual strong waves, animal life in the oceans like crabs, mussels, and snails would completely die off in mass numbers. And this chain reaction could actually decimate life on Earth. Also, the flat moon would change the weather on Earth drastically, causing extreme storms and very high temperatures. Also, with a flat moon, days on Earth would only be 15 hours.
Normal looking photos with disturbing backstories. First is Mark Jackson's basketball card. At first look, it looks like a normal card. However, it shows the Mendez brothers who had just killed their wealthy parents without anyone knowing. At the time, their father was worth $14 million, and within 6 months, they spent over $700,000 of that. But then they got convicted and were both sentenced to life in prison. This is a picture of Franklin Delano Floyd and his stepdaughter Suzanne, who at 10 years old he had kidnapped. He would go on to raise her as his daughter, and he put her into high school under fake names. He then went on to have a son with her and marry her under another fake name. A few years later, Suzanne decided to leave him and take their son. And a few months after that, she was found beaten on the side of a highway and taken to a hospital where she later passed away. Their son then went on to foster care where he was adopted, but later on kidnapped by Floyd, never to be seen again.
In 2018, the YouTuber Infinite was followed home by a scary clown on Halloween.
That is the creepiest thing ever. Oh my god.
He was able to capture a video of it from inside his house. In the video, you can clearly see a scary clown standing outside the window of Infinite's house. When the clown sees Infinite filming, he waves, and then disappears around the side of the house.
Is he going to the door? No, I have to lock it.
This is when Infinite gets really scared, as he realizes that his front door is unlocked, and that the clown may be able to get inside his house. He makes it to his front door and locks it just in time. He puts the camera up to the peephole, and you can see the clown standing outside his door, trying to get in.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. When Apollo 11 landed, it only had 20 seconds of remaining fuel. 4 months ago, a deceased rapper by the name Gunu had his corpse on stage while fans were partying around his body. The average person wastes 5 months of their lives waiting for red lights to turn green. Cruise ships have morgues, just in case someone, during the trip. If you have red eyes after swimming, it's not from chlorine, it's from the chlorine mixing with other people's urine. The furthest part of the ocean from land is Point Nemo. If you get stuck there, you're not coming back. Sunburn are your cells dying to avoid being cancerous. Most laugh tracks and shows are people from the 50s, which means you're hearing the laughter of dead people. Yeah, there's a lot more, like for part 14.
Normal looking photos that have a disturbing backstory, part 28. This photo shows 23-year-old Tina Tintor hugging her dog Max. One day, after taking Max for a walk, the two were driving home when they were killed in a fiery car crash by a drunk NFL player. This wooden headbox is designed to prevent light, sound, or air from getting inside. In 1970, Colleen Stam was abducted by a serial killer and locked inside it for 7 years. This image shows Marie Joseph taken the day she drowned while swimming in a public pool. However, her body wasn't found for 48 hours, and during this time, people would swim around the pool while she was decomposing at the bottom. This is the last known photo ever taken of comedian Robin Williams. It was captured October 8th, 2014, just one day before he took his own life.
Have you done the smile tapes? Well, I hadn't, but now I'm gonna. Warning, if you are sensitive to disturbing subject matter like creepypastas and stuff like that, then I highly suggest clicking off this video. The smile tapes is an urban legend creepypasta type story first posted by this user. It's about a new medication which has some disturbing side effects. The story starts with a public service announcement saying that there has been a new drug circulating called the smile drug, and that there have been no scientific studies done on the medication yet, but it's making people go insane. The public service announcement advises people to stay away from others who may be under the influence of this medication, and that if you look at them in the eyes, they will turn predatory towards you. It's said that this medication is made of spores of an unidentified fungus, and that it results in uncontrollable laughter, uncontrollable smiling, and violence. These photos are of two people who were brought into the emergency room on the same day, the day that both of them ingested the medication, for severe headaches and facial cramps. What followed was terrifying. Part 2 is up now. The Smile Tapes Part 2. Warning, this is going to get disturbing. None of the medicine that they gave these two men in the ER helped, and they were admitted to the hospital for observation. After about a week, their faces started changing. The two men began to smile uncontrollably, even if they would try to hold back their smiles. Even though they tried to resist, the smile drug had taken power over their faces. After another week, their conditions worsened. They began to smile with an ungodly grin. Their behavior becomes predatory and they start lashing out. This is also when the laughter begins. Locked in a room away from everybody else. By week 4, their facial tissue has been severely damaged. Whatever fungus is in the smile medication has caused their faces to permanently fuse into the position of a grin. This is the only facial expression that they can make. They can no longer move their face. The last part is posted. Last part of the Smile Tapes. Warning, this video is going to get disturbing. These two men are not themselves anymore. It seems as though the fungus in the smile drug has taken over their entire body. There is no soul in either of them. They are just simply the fungus. By week 5, this is the only patient that was left. The other one had passed away. As you can see, this man looks nothing like what he looked like when he first went to the ER on day 1. The fungus has taken over his entire body and his brain is in the late stages of Alzheimer's. After a few more days, this man passes away as well. Now that both of the men have passed away, it's time to conduct an autopsy on their bodies to see why exactly they died and what this drug did to them, as both of their bodies were laid out on the stainless steel autopsy tables. Right as the doctors were about to slice into both of them, a rush of gas exited the two men's bodies, through their mouths and straight into the doctors' faces. This gas contained fungus spores of the same fungus that the smile drug was made out of, and now both of the doctors had been exposed.
This is what would happen if all ocean water became fresh water. Okay, so a sea without any salt would decimate all marine life and dramatically affect our weather and temperatures, making human life on Earth very difficult or impossible. There are roughly 228,450 species in the ocean, and as many as 2 million more to be discovered. But if the ocean were to have no salt in it, we would never find them. Next up, saltwater fish and other ocean creatures evolved to be able to drink salt water to stay hydrated and get rid of excess salt. Not all sea creatures do this the same way, but being able to pump out excess salt is crucial to surviving in the ocean. Some species like salmon have adapted to tolerate freshwater and saltwater, but for the most part, all saltwater species would die.
Scary Facts That Will Blow Your Mind, Part 2. The Hoia Baciu Forest is considered the most haunted forest in all of Romania. Hundreds of people have gone missing within these woods, among other things like screams, laughter, babies crying, people being attacked by unseen paranormal forces, strange balls of light, UFOs, and in the very center of the forest lies a clearing where no plant life will grow. It is believed that this spot is a portal to another dimension. What do you think? Like and follow for more.
While it may appear ordinary, this might just be the scariest Twitter page of all time. The username Hanging Pro refers to the man behind the avatar with a noose around its neck, Takahiro Shiraishi, aka the Twitter Killer. Over the course of 3 months in 2017, he murdered and sexually abused 9 people, most of which were young girls that he'd met on social media. Takahiro used Twitter to lure suicidal women into his home, claiming that he would help them die. However, when he met up with his victims in public, he would tranquilize the women and carry them back to his apartment where he would strangle them and dispose of their bodies. When Takahiro was captured and taken to court, his lawyers argued that the deaths were consensual because the victims had technically agreed to be killed. However, the court disagreed and sentenced him to death for his crimes, claiming they were sadistically and sexually charged and there was no true consent ever given.
Want to hear a disturbing fact? In 2007, a disembodied foot was found by a young girl on the shores of the Salish Sea, which borders both the US state of Washington and the Canadian province of British Columbia. The foot belonged to a young man, and was contained within a standard blue and white running sneaker. But that's not even the strangest or most disturbing part of this story, because the exact same thing happened the very next day. In fact, since that day, over 20 additional disembodied feet have been found in that same area. However, none of the feet show signs of trauma, so authorities don't suspect foul play. Instead, it is believed that they probably belong to victims of boating and other water-related accidents. The feet become detached from the bodies during the decomposition process, where the shoes, acting as inflation devices, carry them back to the shore, where they are promptly found by terrified 12-year-old girls. Comment what your favorite shoe brand is, and follow for more.
Thanks for watching the video. Remember to hit the subscribe button and drop a like or comment. And always remember, stay sane.